According to Wikipedia, a scroll saw is a small electric or pedal-operated saw used to cut intricate curves in wood, metal, or other materials. Yes, we did say pedal-operated. As you can probably tell, using this saw required the operator to be all in. The thin profile and the fine teeth of a scroll saw blade allows it to cut more delicately than a power jigsaw and more easily than the hand tool, a coping saw. This tool gets its name from the kinds of cuts it can make. The scroll saw allows its operator to maneuver pieces of stock across the table and through the blade to make gentle and potentially intricate curves or scroll work. Where things get a little confusing is here. Scroll saws are often called jigsaws, and jigsaws can also be known as saber saws. It's probably safe to think of it this way. If you're using a handheld jigsaw, it's okay if you alternately refer to it as a saber saw or vice versa. If the jigsaw you're using is on a workbench or a stand, it's not a problem if you call it a scroll saw, or vice versa. We've discovered that there's another power saw out there that seems to be trying to blur the differences between a scroll saw, jigsaw, and saber saw even more. This tool looks like a Husky jigsaw, and it can function in a manner similar to a jigsaw. It uses blades that look very much like those used on a saber saw. It can cut wood, metal, plastics, and tile, but its manufacturer simply references it as a highly portable tabletop saw. It has a scroll saw-like overarm extending from the rear of the table to the approximate center of the table, where the blade protrudes through the Thorpe plate and moves up and down in a reciprocal action. Unlike a scroll saw, the blade is attached by the lower chuck only. We just thought that you might like to know about a tool like this. Of course, none of this should be confused with a power tool called a bandsaw. A bandsaw can also make many of the same cuts that a scroll saw and a saber saw can make. Unfortunately, as with a saber saw, a bandsaw's blade width prohibits many of the finer cuts that a scroll saw can make. Another big difference between these saws is that a bandsaw's blade operates in a continuous loop rather than in a reciprocating action like a scroll saw and jigsaw do. Also, because a bandsaw's blade cannot be intentionally separated, then joined again, interior cuts can only be made by cutting a channel in the workpiece to access the intended area. A jigsaw becomes the preferred tool if the user wants to do fine, intricate cuts on the interior of a workpiece. This is because the saw's blades can be inserted through access holes bored in the workpiece and then installed in the chucks. We'll further demonstrate this action a little later.